Hey, welcome back. Today, we're diving into some fascinating new research from BCG that asks a really important question. Everybody is pouring money into AI, right? But who's actually making money from it? Let's get into it. So let's just start with that question straight up. Seriously, take a second. Is your company's huge bet on AI actually delivering on its promise? Because according to the data, for most companies, the answer is a big, fat no. And this number, wow, this should stop you in your tracks. A massive 60% of companies, even though they're making these huge investments in AI, are failing to generate any material value. I'm not talking about a little value or slow value, I'm talking no material value at all. This isn't just a slow start, folks. It's a fundamental disconnect between what's being spent and what's being earned. And all of this is leading to something the research calls the Great AI Divide. And listen, this isn't some gentle slope. It's more like a chasm that's opening up right between a tiny group of winners and, well, pretty much everyone else. So on one side of this chasm, you've got the top 5%. These are the future-built companies. They are systematically creating these incredible AI capabilities. And this is the key part. They're generating huge value from them. And on the other side, that's the other 95%, the laggards, who are really struggling to get their AI efforts off the ground and are just getting left in the dust. So what does this divide actually look like in dollars and cents? Well, for starters, the future-built companies are clocking 1.7 times more revenue growth than the laggards. That's not just some theoretical edge, it's a real, tangible impact on the top line. And if you want to see the impact on the bottom line, get this. Over a 3-year stretch, these same companies delivered 3.6 times greater total shareholder return. So they're not just growing faster, they are creating way, way more value for their investors. It's a huge difference. So here's the really crucial point. The leaders are in the fast lane, and they're flooring it. The value they generate from AI gets plowed right back into better tech and smarter talent, which, of course, creates even more value. It becomes this amazing virtuous cycle for them, and a pretty vicious one for everyone else who's just trying to keep up. Now here's where it gets really interesting. That gap we've been talking about, it's about to get a whole lot wider, even faster. And that's all thanks to a brand new evolution in AI tech that's just getting started. Let's talk about something called Agentic AI. The best way to think about these are not as simple tools, but as autonomous digital workers. They can combine different types of AI to actually reason, learn, and act on their own to handle really complex jobs from start to finish. We're talking about a massive leap beyond just, writing an email or analyzing a spreadsheet. And just look at how fast this is moving. A year ago, Agentic AI was barely a blip on the radar. Now, it's already creating about 17% of the total AI value, and by 2028, that's expected to almost double to 29%. This tech is the new rocket fuel, and it means every company has to adapt or risk falling even further behind. Okay, so if you're sitting there thinking you're in that 95%, this might all sound a little scary. But here's the good news. The leaders, they're leaving clues. The research has basically reverse engineered their approach into a clear, actionable playbook that any company can use. And here it is, the 5 big moves. First, and this is non-negotiable, lead from the top. This has to be a strategic mission for the entire company. Second, reshape and even invent new workflows. Don't just slap AI onto old processes. Third, go all in with an AI-first model across the board. Fourth, you got to get the right people, whether that's hiring new talent or upskilling your current team. And finally, number 5, build a tech stack that's actually flexible and built for what you need it to do. And if you're wondering just how important that first step is, leadership, well, the data is pretty shocking. Nearly 100% of the future-built companies have C-suites that are deeply personally involved in driving their AI strategy. And for the laggards, that number is just 8%. It just goes to show, without that top-down commitment, AI projects are just experiments that don't go anywhere. So this brings us to what might be the biggest misunderstanding about AI. Most people think the hardest part is the technology, right? The algorithms, the data. But it's not. The real challenge, it turns out, is all about people. And this is a perfect way to visualize it. BCG calls it the 10-20-70 rule. When it comes to a successful AI transformation, only about 10% of the challenge is the algorithms. Another 20% is the tech infrastructure. But the giant slice of the pie, a full 70%, is all about getting the people, the processes, and the change management right. And the data totally backs this up. When companies were asked about their biggest roadblocks, what did they say? It wasn't our models aren't good enough. No, they pointed to a lack of expertise, the struggle of getting their employees to adapt, a huge shortage of AI talent, and company silos that prevent teamwork. You see the pattern? These are all human problems, not tech problems. So it all comes down to this. The road is splitting in two right now, and every single business leader is standing at that fork of the road, and they've got to make a choice. One lane is the slow lane. That's where 95% of companies are right now, and they risk getting stuck in that vicious cycle, just falling further and further behind. The other lane is the fast lane, defined by that clear playbook for success. The map is there, the strategies work, but making the jump requires bold, decisive action, and it has to happen now. Look, the tech is moving faster than any of us could have imagined, and that value gap is getting wider every single day. The future-built companies are already pulling away from the pack. So the only real question left for everyone else is this. The playbook is right here. It's on the table. What's your first move?